Could either of you please explain very briefly why do you feel the book is valuable and what parts of the book are usually objected to?
I have read the book, and I can say from reading it that probably what's being objected to is a depiction of torture, which did happen during the Iranian Revolution, and a word here and a word there, perhaps the F word, which I would conjecture that most 7th graders in Chicago have heard. The book as a whole, which is the way we urge people to read this book, talks about the coming of age of a young woman in Iran dealing with her family, about the difficult issues about the role of women in Iran, the role of politics in daily life, the pressures put on women because of a change in religious policy. And I believe that this book, and many librarians believe this book, is totally appropriate at the 7th grade level. It has been recommended, as I said, by many schools and libraries for 7th grade and up, certainly.
So what's the harm? Catcher in the Rye normally catches most of the heat.
Yes, right.
Is this new on the roster of targets?
This book has been challenged before, but not as much yet as Catcher in the Rye. It's a much newer book, but it's the same kind of thing, I think, if you want to talk about a general theme of kids growing up. And I think this book is a wonderful way to show Chicago students what it was like and what it continues to be like in the Republic of Iran when it comes to women's rights and what young women have to look forward to.
Catcher in the Rye, though, I mean, we all read it in high school. What's wrong with
Yes.
waiting until high school to read this book? Why should they in 7th grade?
I am trusting that the Chicago Public Schools developed this curriculum knowing at one point that it would be a great curriculum for 7th grade students. I think that this book has been reviewed by professional reviewers as being totally appropriate for that age. We find that you can't just name an age for when a student wants to read a book. There may be kids in junior high who pick it up and really don't want to finish it. There may be kids in middle school who pick up the book and want to talk to a pastor or a parent or the teacher about, whoa, this torture really bothers me. Can we talk about this? We believe that books are a real window into what's going on in the world today, and that it is important for students to encounter issues that may indeed make them uncomfortable, but that they have people surrounding them, especially in a school system, who can help them digest what's going on in the book, make sense of the book, and discuss it with their peers.
So what typically it has been approved by other districts, specifically for the 7th grade age?
I would have to check on that information, but I have certainly seen this book on many, many lists as a book that kids should read when they are on their way to college or for college preparatory courses in high school, which would suggest to me that it should be read before they get to high school.
So what typically happens when you tell a kid that there's a book they shouldn't be reading?
Yes, well, that is an interesting question, isn't it? Quite often the book is in demand. In fact, I was looking around the city for copies, and it is difficult to find one in a bookstore today. It is available, and I do want to make this clear. The Chicago Public Library has over 100 copies that are, I don't know how many are checked out, probably most of them by now, but there are copies in the Chicago Public Library to be checked out by students or by adults.
Could you please summarize for us specifically what did the Chicago school system do about this book? What are they now saying they're doing about the book? And what is yet undone? What would satisfy you?
Okay, I am going to turn this over to Deborah again, who has been following the documentation on this.
Our understanding of the timeline is that yesterday an email was sent to Lane Tech faculty informing them that the book was to be removed from both the classrooms and the library as expeditiously as possible. There was no explanation given for the reason for this removal. A similar email was sent along from an administrator in the Fullerton network of schools, similarly instructing faculty to remove the book from the classroom. Since that time, the school board has offered explanations that deal with the belief that they need to study this for developmental effects on 7th graders, but that explanation was not given in the first instance. They now say that it's a temporary removal, but I believe the emails that I discussed are widely available, and I believe they may even be in the media kit that you received. But the tone of the emails makes it clear that, at least originally, it was just a directive to remove the books from all levels of instruction in the CPS. And since then, they've been dialing that back. And you can draw your conclusions, as you will, from their information.
You seek what?
What?
You seek what at this point?
We would like to see a good process that allows the book to get a fair hearing. We'd like the students to get the book back because it's our understanding that there were classrooms that were in the middle of studying this book and the book was removed from the hands of the students. And we believe that the book should remain in the hands of the students who've already seen it. Certainly they're not going to be harmed in any way by seeing, seeing a book they've already read, but in fact it's a harsh lesson to have administrators come in and take a book out of your hands and tell you you're not allowed to read it.
Should those administrators be fired?
No. There should just be a process involved that allows both the public and the students, the faculty, to understand how these decisions are made and make sure that they're made in a fair fashion. You can look to the CPS policy 604.7, which deals with library collection development for the kind of model that we're talking about. There is Section E deals with challenges to materials. It allows for committee review, appeal to the school board, allows for a fair hearing. And that's what we always ask for in these situations, because it shouldn't be one person's objection that dictates the curriculum for the entire school system.
Are you aware of CPS taking similar action against with other books in the past?
Well, our understanding is that in the past, they've actually defended books and retained them in the curriculum. There was a challenge a few years ago to the Chocolate War, which also contains profanity, and was retained and defended by the school district, and it was being taught at an upper elementary level as well. So it has, obviously, there's been a change in perception on the impact of profanity on young people in the junior high and middle school levels since that time. But we would recommend that the same handling of the Chocolate War be applied to Persepolis.